right? So for Ilios and Busan, I have pro play examples, and for Lijiang, you're just gonna have to believe me. So let's start on Ilios. So Ilios is an interesting map in the way where it is seemingly, apparently, commonly misconceived as not good for dive, when it actually kind of really is. So the goal of Ilios, let's start with well, right, is you want to walk and take control of the space around the point, right? This will be a very common theme, especially for control. What you're going to notice is I'm going to repeat myself 100 times, or I'm going to try not to, but I will, inevitably. Your goal is to take the space around the point, right? That's the most valuable space on the map. So when you are attacking this map, right, when you're attacking well, you'll walk out, and you will usually have, your team will usually split and play in the mini room here, and then play on coast over here, right? And then you slowly squeeze the point until you win. It's kind of a it seems kind of like dumbed down, but this is, I mean, Overwatch is a simple game. You take space, you win. You know what I mean? You want to squeeze them out, force people to back up, and then eventually, once the point unlocks, like if you control this half and you control this half, I mean, like, it kind of just leaves you with this, and that's the whole point. And I mean, sure, like the other team could push you, they could be like standing up here, but then they have no support. The only thing they can do when you have all this room is back up, which is good for you. So we're gonna look at whoops. We're gonna look at Crazy Raccoon, who one of the best ball teams in the world, which is why I'm showing you guys this. We're gonna watch them attack well. Let's slow this down a little bit. Alright, so we see the split ball. Oh my god, that is fucking large. Relax over there. See, the ball is over here, and the Pharah is taking care of this whole half. So these two alone are marking two different halves of the map, right? So we watch this develop. This Pharah plays really well on the coast. Hee-Sang is cracked. But then Nightmare does a good job of taking back this mini room, and that's why they stay in this fight for so long. But then now that they've secured coast, they begin to move in, right? And play up on top of this high ground here. And it's very much about giving like forcing the other team to make a bad decision. Like you put them in a bad spot, right? So you'll roll out here and here, and then depending on which side the enemy team commits to, you will say they commit to many like they did here. You'll secure your half, right? And then slowly move in and like pressure them. So they either have to back out through mini room down here, or they have to take the fight where they are boxed in here. You have all of the space around them, which should 100% of the time result in them dying, right? Because you have 100 angles to shoot them from, and they have one, maybe two. So we'll just watch how this plays out. Yeah, let's go back for a second. And then you can see kind of, excuse me, you can see kind of how this is good, right? Because after, I'm gonna draw the same line for the 100th time. After Hee-Sang and Lip they take this whole coast for free, and then the Pharah comes here, and the Tracer comes here, and now that only escape route that I talked about is gone, right? They can't go there anymore, so they're entirely stuck. And this is just kind of like a big like pinch maneuver, which is a really common, really simple way to win a team fight, right? By just forcing the enemy team to go in one place and then pinching them from every angle. Because it makes it really hard to focus down one person when you're getting shot by like 5 from different directions. And then they end up winning this fight very, very easily. So, kind of really the main thing for Ilios, specifically well, but I mean, I'll talk briefly about the other two. But the main thing is taking control of one half. Like, you want to put light pressure on both halves, and then whichever side the enemy team commits to, you want to give and then punish, right? Like, so it's go and then go, like soft engages, and then wherever they go, right? You saw their ball like retreats, like he goes all the way, like he's like back here somewhere, like just chilling, because they have coast, so he's allowed to sit back here with like no punishment because their whole team has walked into mini room, right? They walked as 5 over here. Normally walking together is good, but when you're playing dive, especially on Ilios, it's not good, right? You want to be split because it gives you the ability to take all of this space, right? So you have way more room, and you have this, right? And then with the tracer coming from behind, right, you begin to slowly cut off the space, and you put them in a box. Surprise, we drawn the same picture 3 times. Good times. So I will real quick show you how to do that on the other 2 maps. On on Lighthouse, you see a lot of people walking out, just kind of walking out main, which is not really what you want to do. It kind of gives you no agency. The ideal way to play this is you walk up your staircase and you play this room up here. And then, usually once the point unlocks, your Tracer or your Diva or something will go and contest point. But usually this point is kind of fighting from across the high grounds for an opening. And then once the point unlocks, you'll send whoever your most mobile player is to go and control it. Usually that's a Tracer. But it depends on game to game, what comp you're running and all that. But Lighthouse is a interesting game where like you're kind of fighting for control of this roof. Like up here is a very hotly contested space. Like whoever's up here is usually winning the fight. And then you also like it's different where you just want to play forward, kind of like after you win first fight, you want to be looking to cut off this whole area, like, and control inside and the mega room, right? Like here, I'll delete this. You wanna be playing like not in the room, but you want to control this line, kind of like right before, and then maybe have somebody like sitting right here where this X is and like spamming down this choke, because that can all be very helpful to the fight. But walking out first fight, always walk up the stairs. It's a big thing a lot of people get wrong, and usually that will secure you like a decent advantage in the first fight, and then from there you're just playing like don't get picked, play to deny space, really simple stuff. And then on Ruins, whoops, let me get my, here we go. Ruins is unique in the way where it's very open, which makes snipers a lot scarier, or like Freya, shit like that. So when you're diving, you want to split. Again, like very similar. This is played very similarly to Well, where you will send somebody on coast, and you'll send somebody on the inside, and you will avoid the point. Right? You don't want to send anybody on point until you have to, because the point itself is a death trap. Like it's just the way the maps are designed. Like it's in the middle. That's why. It seems self-explanatory, but like so many people will just like. Let's try that again. So when you're fighting on Ruins, it's similar to Well in the sense where you want to take coast and then take this inside lane, and then you kind of pinch from there, where your Tracer or Ball can play up in the Mega Room, right, like back here to set up for a hit, or they could play on this Mega here. You're kind of just playing health packs, like trying to force out resources early, and then eventually they'll have to commit somewhere. They'll have to either like they'll either commit on coast and try and do this, or commit through the room, and then it's the same thing. You eventually will just pinch and win. Or for some reason they'll just kind of run it down mid, and then you kill them. Like it is that easy. Like if they ever just run it down mid on Ilios when you're playing dive, it should be so free and punishable. Like there's no reason you should lose, realistically. I mean, if you do, shit happens, but don't look to let them like punish when they walk down mid. Because like if they're just kind of running it down here, and you're set up, like you have like your ball and then like your tracer and back here, and then you have whoever else is on your team, right? And they're all set up like back here on this rock, right? Like you want to be looking to execute as they walk in, right? Like right as they get to here, you want to like look for your slam, look for your blink in, because then like the rest of your team, who I haven't really said, anyone who's not a part of the dive, like you're like generally like one or both of the supports, and then your hit skin, you want to be playing natural cover very hard, right? Like you want to like find the nearest natural cover and sit there, right? Like you have like the big rock for this side, or the rock on this side, or you can play like one of the pillars over here or over here type vibes. Or if we want to go back to well and show you where you would sit, either like 1 second behind this pillar right here, or like in this room over here, or if you're on the other side behind like this pillar or this pillar, you also play here. Or you want to play like up on this high ground or up on this high ground. You know what I mean? Like somewhere that is removed from the fight and your team has easy control over, so that you do not get run over. That's kind of your main goal, is to not die. Right? And then we'll come back to right here on Lighthouse, and then same deal. Like if you're not part of the dive, you want to like stay up here, or stay like in the doorway, or same vibes here, here. You can play like on the bridge if you're getting pressured out really bad. You could drop and you can play this mini room. Like there's a lot you can do, you know. Or as the dive, like you could also set up. I forgot to mention this. You could also set up in this mini room, right? Because this is another like highly contested area, right? Like it's just another health pack that people play that's really important. So don't neglect that. But in general, Ilios not very complicated. Look to set up, look to pinch. Again, like we talked about it before. 3 lanes, right? 3 lanes. Whoops. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Or I guess it's more like here. It's like 1, 2, 3. But then they kind of like branch out, type vibes, and then like 1, 2, 3. Right? You want to pinch from 1 and 3, right? Like you want to go there. You want to go to 1 and 3 as the dive, and then pinch to wherever they go. That's the simple way to say it. But yeah, this isn't really too complicated. If you have questions, feel free to reach out. I am happy to elaborate, because this is very much unscripted, kind of just off the dome. So don't feel bad asking questions. I'm not the best explainer, but I'm hoping this makes sense to you guys. So next, next we will look at Busan. So Busan is an interesting map. I guess maybe all the maps are interesting, but this first map, whatever the hell this joint's called, Downtown maybe, I don't know what it's called, but this sub map, right, the one with the big ass train. So we are looking here, right, and again we see our 3 defined lanes, right, and you might be thinking, okay, we should do the same thing. We should go both lanes and we should pinch. No, don't do that. Nah, you can do that, but it's not the best. It's not the best way to do it. It does depend on your comp. Like if you're running a ball like a ball tracer, you definitely can split the lanes, right? And you can path this way, and path this way. But it's a little bit harder because the mini room over here, the mini room is very, very hotly contested ground, right? This is in a very important space that a lot of people will want to take, so it's kind of hard to use this as a flank route because this is almost like the front line, you know. So it's a little difficult, but still doable if you'd like to try. But if you were running something like a D.Va, say like, oh, I don't know, maybe a D.Va Symmetra, like the best Overwatch team in the world runs on this map, your goal is to run it down mid as fast as possible, which I know sounds a little crazy, but when you play Busan, the most important space on the map is up top here. Like this is up there. Like this is next to the mini room as like the places you like need to have control over to win. Right? Like having control of the space is very good because it denies rotates, right? Like say the enemy team is like all standing here and somebody is over here and they need help. They're getting blasted. Right? If you have like say your D.Va standing here, it makes it really hard for these people to leave because they're so worried about like as soon as they turn, this D.Va can like crush them and they can get blasted. So they're kind of like a little overstimulated and afraid of dying. So let's watch how that works in real time, guys. So here, slow us down a little bit. We see the D.Va takes this box, which forces the Ashe to drop. Right? This Ashe will drop. And now, look how many people are looking at this D.Va. 1, 2, 3. And the Brig is turning. This D.Va is eating 4 people's attention. And the Ramattra is just going to get burned. And they're, like, these are pro players, right? These are people who, it's their entire job, like these support players, it's their entire job to recognize when they need to move and need to go and save their tank. And they are so late to this. They're so very, very late to this rotate because the D.Va takes that high ground and literally pulls everyone's aggro, right? And then they get the really early pick on the tank, and then they win this fight. They win this first fight for free, and sure, like the Symmetra killed the tank, like you know what I mean. Like you could say the Sim carries this fight, but it is almost entirely due to like taking this very important space and applying pressure to the backline, right? And that's your job as a tank player. But as like a DPS or a support player, it's your job to like fight for this room, like this mini room. This is your golden area. Like you want to be like if you have a D.Va, right, and then you're running like S4 as the squishies, you want to take this mini room because this provides like very good cover. It allows you to walk out here behind these or here behind like these pillars, and then it also allows you to get sightlines into this lane, which is again you're denying a lane, right? If we go back to the 1 2 3, 1 2 3, you're denying lane 3, and your D.Va's denying lane 2, which forces them to either commit to one lane and take a lot of damage before a fight, or rotate really wide and commit to this far left lane. Oh my god, why did it do that? This far left lane here, and then you already know that they're there. You already know where they're going, and then you're allowed, like you have time to get an early rotate, and then you have the high ground, and they get blicked. Right? That's very good. So that's how you first fight, but I also want to show you the following fight because they immediately go on ball, and this kind of I want you guys to like see this and understand how you're supposed to play retake as a ball team. Okay. So watching this fight, right? This shows a lot of the core principles we've talked about, like how to play when you're up, right? So we see at the beginning of this fight, right? They take down two, right? They take down Simple and Quartz, right? This is two picks, so they're up right now, right? Like here, like before this dive, they're even, right? Jumpin drops in, and then they're up one, right? So again, if you guys paid attention ever, they are in no rush to take this fight, right? They have all of like the power. So like the ball is able to roll back, the Brig is able to back up, the Ash is able to back up. Like all these people are allowed to just come here and take a soft reset, get their health up, get their resources up, and good. The Tracer is full health and taking a 1v1. That's fine. That's perfectly reasonable. If you're Tracer, Jaden, I'm talking to you. If your team is resetting and you have a 1v1, I'm perfectly fine with you taking it. As long as you're like, if you're like in no risk of dying, take that 1v1. Even if you don't like secure the kill and have to like back up. Like, I'm fine. I'm fine with you taking that risk. But and then after their soft reset, they step back up, right? And then they get the pick here, and then they get the last one. They clean this fight up. This fight's over, right? So this also shows like the importance of playing this pillar, right? So when you are back here, right? Like when you're fighting on the point, this point is kind of difficult because there's a very like mean high ground right here that people will play on, and then the point underneath kind of gives you like zero like visual awareness. Like you can't really see much from on the point. So again, breaking news: the space around the point is much more important than the point itself. So playing on this coast here and like rotating around this little fucking pillar, this is good. This is where you want to be when you're attacking this, and even when you're defending it. Like, like say you need to take a soft reset, like, and you have the point, you can back up over here and play coast for a minute and then re-engage. Just because you have the ability to like ring around the rosy and like sit here, it's very good, very good, right? And you'll see this a lot where you can kind of like play a little off the point, like play LOS and then come back in, and it's very good. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're playing this submap in particular and Busan in general. Like there's a lot of times where you almost never want to play on the point. This is control in general. You almost never want to play on the point, and you want to play around the point, right? Like if you have cap, you have there's actually zero reason to ever stand on the objective. Like you want to play around the objective and secure space and preserve resources and put yourself in the best position to win a fight. Okay. So looking at the next submap, unfortunately we don't have one for Shrine, but Shrine's pretty easy, so I'll actually go over Shrine first, just so we can get it out of the way. Shrine again, 1, 2, 3. Overwatch runs in threes. We all know this. So when you're playing dive, same thing as Ilios, split, and then punish. Split, punish. Very simple concept. If it doesn't make sense, feel free to ask, but split. Basically, you just want to split and then punish. That is your general vibe. Split your general vibe. Jesus, split punish, right? One, one, and then usually you'll have three in main, and then wherever their strong side is, you collapse, right? You just kind of come around, or you come around. It's very simple, very easy, right? When you have the point, you want to kind of push up, and you want to. Usually, I like to play a 2-3, where you'll have your longer range DPS and one of your supports playing over on this left side here, right? And they kind of shoot this way, and then your tank and a support and DPS will sit here, kind of make like a little kill box. Very good for winning fights early. And if you get an early pick, I would very much encourage you to just kind of run it down into their spawn. Just because of how big the sightlines are, if you're up people, like it's very, very easy to get more picks with enough space. Like if you're just kind of like crushing this area, like you can swing really aggressively with your tank and then get another pick here, and then just get you another like free 20% with a stagger. But and then when you are attacking, when you're up, just don't forget to include the windows in your attack, right? Like you're walking out and you send like maybe you send like one of your DPS on an off angle here and they're shooting through the window, right? And looking for a pick. Or if they're real, like the team might be holding like back here, right? Or like back here on Shrine or on Mini, sorry. And there, I mean, you really just you can brute force it as 5, or you can play for a pinch, right? Like you send your tank like this way, like if it's ball or like D.Va, they can do a little like displacement, Kiri like a Kiri Suzu to follow up, or like a disruptor shot, some shit. And you kind of just blow them up here from 2 angles, or you could go from the outside and come in from behind, run it down mid. If they're playing, oh, whoops, if they're playing on Mini, same thing. Multiple angles. Multiple angles is kind of what I'm getting at. Like when you play control, right? You want to be fighting for multiple angles because usually the maps are very like square. At least the angles are. So or even you could have your tracer force point here, and then when like somebody has to leave wherever they're playing to contest the point. So you want to send at least one person. Like they're going to send at least one person to contest your tracer, and that gives you like a moment where you can push and either fight point together or fight while the team is down whoever they're sending to contest the tracer. So it's very like heat of the moment, like be ready to make a spontaneous decision. And usually you want that decision to be committing on their team. Especially if they're like looking somewhere else. Like that's the whole idea of pushing for multiple angles is you want to draw aggro, like you want to split their aggro, right? Say there's 5 people, right? If they're all looking this way, someone's coming from their left, some of them are gonna have to look this way, which gives the rest of your team better odds to like live. That's the whole idea. And usually multiple people will look because it's very hard to coordinate. Like, okay, I will mark this guy. And like a lot of people won't do that. So generally, like 2 or 3 might look over at this one person, and that gives you the opportunity to run them over. Right? Like your goal is to run them over. And if they don't mark this flanker, they're gonna get smoked. They're gonna get blown up immediately. So something to think about. But yeah, again, very easy, very simple. Not too much going on, but mecha base here. There's 2 ways you can attack this submap. You can run it down. Oh, I made my fucking pencil thick. Give me 1 second. You can run it down and fight for this pillar. That's the big fight that's going to happen, is fighting for this like mid pillar control, because whoever has this has more natural cover and will take less damage and will inevitably win the fight. Like when I say, like, I'm sure you guys have heard me say in scrims, where are you going, what are you doing, and why? I don't literally mean like what's the philosophical reason for you taking this choke. I mean like thinking like in your brain that you need to do something, but I want you, if you understand why, you can start doing it on purpose in different scenarios, right? Like we all know that not getting shot is good, but like we don't all understand why taking space is good. Taking space is good because generally that means you have more cover, which means you'll take less damage, you'll have more resources, and you'll win in the long run, right? It puts you in a better position to get a pick, right? Because if you get these pillars, they are forced, right? Like if they're all standing on the other side, but you push, and you take these pillars, right? They're forced to back up, which means they have to play here. And now that you have all of this space, you have the option to shoot them from here, or go over. And you can have like a three-pronged like pincer as they're still backing up, right? Or even if they start going this way, you can catch one lacking, like one can die here, or you could catch one early, like if one of them steps too far forward, you guys could drop and path this way and take the fight on the stairs. Or, I mean, that's really it, realistically. Like, I wouldn't want you to chase super deep. Like, I mean, like, if they're all the way, like, back here, you shouldn't, like, run it down after them, because that kind of equalizes your advantage. So, you know, just take it space. But, you know, if they give you this, right, if they give you this space, you're like, what do I do now? You kind of just want to post up until you know where they are. Usually, if they give you this space, they're going to be playing over here on this staircase, which is the other way you can attack this point, which I personally think isn't great, just because it kind of gives you like a height disadvantage overall, even though you're closer to the point, right? Because some of the most important space on this map is, you know, the high ground around it. Surprise, the space around the point is more important. And then you have like the bridge, but the bridge isn't super crazy. It's not that deep. But this high ground is where you want to be. This is where you need to be, right? So always, I would say always fight up top, like for first fight. And now you guys are about to see why.
Jumping on ball now, Johnny. I mean, we're going to see this on Busan from Jimin regardless of the stage. It's just such a strong pick, but do you think it really matches up against a diva on this stage?
It's such a difficult point to get value from the Wrecking Ball. You see, great Tuesday here by Twisted Mind, but then the follow-up from the nade.
Simple manages to stay alive though, TP's away, cleanses 19 HP, climbs on the wall, but they've already found.
So this fight we just watched is kind of a perfect example of what you should do when fighting first point, and they don't contest you here, right? So we watch, they wait, right? They take the space, and then they wait and they look. They look to see where everyone is. They recognize this. They take the sim TP in, right? And they're immediately taking this fight. And they fight as 5. Like, when you're playing a diva brawl like this, especially, you need to fight as 5, right? And they punish this this, I would say, not great positioning, and they run it down and they kill both supports, and this fight is pretty much won. Like, there's not much to be done. So like, the reason they win this fight is, first of all, they have this space, right? The most important space on the map. They have all of it with 0 pressure, right? And also, right, you see Crazy Raccoons puts themselves in a small space. They put themselves like here, and it very much makes them susceptible to like a sim TP bomb, where like the whole team groups up here, and then the TP goes down, and then it just kind of they explode outwards, right? And it makes it really hard for any counterplay, because like they've already put themselves in a bad spot, because the Ashe ends up backing up this way, because like if anybody's walked out, they are like anyone out like in this open where the TP is, they're gonna get exploded. So this Ashe is forced to back. Their Ana Brig is forced to back up into this room, and then the ball is like rolling in from behind, and they just get really, really, really split. Like the Tracer's on point too early. Like, there's a lot really wrong on Crazy Raccoon's side for fighting this. But like, I would say the biggest mistake they made is walking out on that side. Even if it's better for their comp, because their idea is to set up the Ashe up on the bridge, but like, it's just a bad comp purely because like of the comp that Twisted Minds has been running. So it's also a thing like recognizing like comps and like what the enemy team is playing and like how that affects you. Like, if you're playing like a ball, you don't want to take this face check, right? you kind of want to like scout by yourself here, and then your team will play the bridge, and then they play off like one of your slams or something. But you don't really want to do that into a comp that will just like explode a backline really quickly, because ball kind of struggles to peel for like burst damage like that. So in general, first fight, really the short version, first fight, take the space and go from there. You know what I mean? Assess, like, take, like, once you have it, take a breath, assess your surroundings, and make a decision from there. Like, don't, like, once you have it, don't panic and, like, give it up immediately. Like, don't drop the point. That's 5. Like, you want to send, like, your tracer or somebody to cap point. That's usually, like, your tracer player is the one to cap point. If the fight's still ongoing. I mean, if the fight's over, like, it doesn't matter. But, like, during a fight, sorry. During a fight, usually the tracer is the one to cap, and then the rest of the team will kind of pressure. And that's your main goal, is just to get control of high grounds and then make a good decision from there. Right? Trust your Symmetra player, trust your tank, trust whoever is shot calling to tell you what to do, and listen to them. That's kind of the main vibes. Anyways, this has been wait a minute, never mind. We have to do Lijiang. Okay, let's look at Lijiang Tower real quick, real fast. This is more of the same, more of really similar stuff. I don't have any pro play to look at, so this shouldn't take us long. This is Garden, I think, is the name of it. But again, we have 3 lanes. Shocker. Right? This is crazy. This is not news, right? If you're playing dive, your main goal is to take control of this outside area here. Like, if you can control all of this space, you'll end up winning the fight pretty much every time, just because it forces the enemy literally into a box, right? And then like if you have a ball tracer playing, like outside in this area and like locking down the outside, and then you have the rest of your team playing as 3, pushing this, right? Like this is kind of in like a retake scenario. It's kind of just a one fight, right? Like, if you have the pressure from main and you have the pressure from around, this just becomes a kill box, right? Like, this is very this should make sense at this point. So, you know, look to take the space around the point. It's literally the same thing, right? And if you have a Symmetra first fight, you can TP in the window. That's, everybody knows how to do that. But you know, I think you guys know how to play Garden. This is a very well-known map. I mean, obviously, you know, in between fights, taking like poke. You want to take as little poke, like in main here, as you can before the fight, for like when we're playing dive or whatever we're playing. Assuming we're playing dive, because for like poker brawl, you're gonna play as 5 anyways. But in the scenario where we play dive, like my 3 that aren't part of the dive, right? You want to take as little damage as possible. Maybe like play around the statue here, or play in the mini room over here. Like, taking this space can be good early fight, but you also don't want to be so far away where you can't rotate back. Because if you end up getting cut off and they end up taking this space first, it's kind of hard to take back if they play it right. I mean, they're not always going to play it right. They might like step too far forward or give it up and just walk the point. But, you know, just be careful. Be careful taking an aggressive off angle on this point, especially because it can be hard to recover. But, you know, pretty easy stuff. On whatever this one is called, the one with the hole around the point. This is actually one of the maps that only has 2 lanes. You have left and right side, right? So we can't really do our whole pinch thing as well. It can still work, but typically, you want to send your ball to one of the sides, and you send. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, right? Like, you send your ball over to this health back, you send your tracer over to this health back, or vice versa, whoever wants to play where. And then you will set up for like a slam around the statue and attack from there. I don't really like crossing the bridge, like, when you're playing as R3. I would much rather you path to White Room and play for like on this ledge here or this ledge here, or like just shooting into main is kind of your vibes. Like, I don't really want you to walk across this bridge because then you'll get blown up, you'll get like thrown off, and that's not good. And also, I mean, you look, right, like when you're pushing across this bridge, right, you're walking here, you swing and suddenly it's just open. Like, you can be seen from literally every angle and there's nowhere close for you to cross and have good cover. Whereas when you push from this side, right, once you're out here, it's a little bad. Like, getting from like the end of White Room to like the beginning of the point, this is kind of your big death trap, but hopefully your ball has taken enough pressure off where you can make this rotation safely, right? And it's the same kind of thing on the bridge. I just feel like the open angles, from like you can literally be shot from like everywhere here, right? Like all of this can shoot you when you're crossing from bridge, and when you're crossing here, really only like this angle can shoot you when you're crossing from White Room. So, you know, it's a path of least resistance thing, but that's really your main takeaway here. And since there's only 2 lanes, like first fight and a retake fight are kind of similar in a way, where I would still say like send one person to this health pack and then send everyone else to White Room. Like if you're playing a dive, I mean, if you're playing ball specifically, that's how I would do it. And you set up from behind. If you're playing pretty much anything else, no matter what comp, I would say you should still go as 5. Maybe you send like your tracer as like a lurk back here, and that can be good. But it does depend on the situation. Like as a tracer player, you could also go like here and then blink across, right? Or you could go. I mean, if you have time, you go all the way around, but there's not really much of a reason to do that. So just kind of think about path of least resistance thing. You know, that's the majority of it. And then we have whatever this map, if it has a, I mean, it has a name, I just don't know what it is, right? Now we're back to 3 lanes, kind of, right? You can walk like here, you can walk here, or you can walk here, right? And this ends up taking you here, this ends up taking you here, this takes you here, right? And they just kind of, I guess it's here, but whatever, right? You have 3 lanes. 3-ish lanes. This is a little different just because they're kind of squeezed together, but it still works out in the way where you usually want to send somebody coast. Realistically, you want to send, like, it's different where you want to send your Sojourn or your hitscan player on coast, and you want to send your tracer over here in the 3rd lane. Just because this coast has a mega for them to play and a really long sight lines of the entire point, right? Again, the space around the point is more valuable than the point itself, right? Setting up your hit scan here is very good. This is your goal as a tank player and as a support player, is you want to get your DP, your hit scan here, and you want to keep them alive as long as you can, right? Once they're set up here, you can really path wherever you want. Personally, I like walking up the second path and taking the fight here really early, right? Like, this is where you want to walk here, but if they're pressuring your DPS over here, you can send your main support, if it's like a Lucio or a Wuyang, or you can send your flex support if it's a Kiri to come on coast and help them. Because taking control of this coast is a big, really easy way to win a first fight and to win most fights. But do not neglect pushing out, because, like, I mean, realistically, once your hit scan gets over to coast, it's really hard for the enemy to walk up out of this lane or out of this lane, which means they're kind of forced to go all the way around, which gives you plenty of time to kind of set up. You can set up like a little line right here that they can't cross. And it sounds like I'm being reductive, but it genuinely is that simple, where you just have to play space. You have to play space correctly. Like, think about Overwatch as a bunch of fucking rectangles, and you need to take the rectangles around the point first. And you need to deny as much area as you can, because that gives you the opportunity to win way more fights. Right? So that's I mean, that's really it. I guess you could talk about retakes. So like usually you'll hold um, up on this pillar is a common area to hold, and then you kite as they run in, right? Or you hold like up here, like you hold in this area, like for when they will walk up the middle lane here. Or if you scout them coming wide, you'll hold here. And I mean, it's kind of just recognizing rotates and rotating fast enough. Like you need to have somebody like thinking about that. Like whoever your IGL is, usually be like listening and being like, all right, like they're coming this way, we need to set up here, right? Now when you're attacking, like when you're the one retaking, something I like to do is coming to this third lane here, and then flipping the map, like going all the way around and coming here. And usually this gives you a really good opportunity to take the coast. And yet again, this coast is very important, right? So you can do that, or I mean, this obviously takes a while. That means you have to have a lot of time. Or you could just brute force the first lane and take the coast, right? Like you give the coast to your head scan, and then you take this fight once they're up there. Like you just kind of kite and you just kind of hang out. Don't cross this line until your hit scan is pathed up here, and they have this because now they have this big ass sight line. And then with that pressure, your front line is able to walk forward. Right, and during this, if you have a tracer, like they can go here, or if you have like your flex DPS can take an angle here. Like it doesn't really matter what you do. You can kind of just do whatever, but tank at the very least, and one of the supports at the very least, just kind of you post up here and you do your thing. Right, you just don't die. Take as little damage as you can. Like literally don't peek until they're there. You peek a little like to pull aggro, but you don't like full swing until they're ready to go. They're ready. So that's that, really. Kind of all I have to say. Any questions? Feel free to let me know. This has been all the control maps, and I have quite a few more to go.